Hey, it's Drybear. I've recently been getting into Star Citizen, the long pledge game full of memes, and I'll probably be putting out more videos on the game in general, just some guides and some general thoughts on it overall. But there is a time-sensitive event going on for Star Citizen that if you have any interest in the game at all and you've never played it before, now would be a great time. So the game normally is a pay-to-play, which means you need to purchase on their website one of their game access packages, and then you have access to their open alpha or whatever. You have to be able to buy that. However, this started last week and goes for another 6 days or so. There is free-to-play Star Citizen. So all you have to do is sign up on the website, download the launcher, and jump in game, and you can play. And with this event, their Invictus Flight Week, they are also allowing you to rent for free a lot of the ships in the game with a major schedule. So if you're someone who's never played before and you want to give it a shot, it's free to play right now, and you can try a whole bunch of the ships that normally take a lot of grinding to unlock in game or a real money purchase on their store to get. So if you're looking to try it out, let's dive into the details of the new event. So the event is called Invictus Flight Week, or Launch Week, that they have this. And this started quite early. This was like May 15th this began. And what they've been doing is during this time period, you have free-to-play access to Star Citizen. So you can download the game for free and play. You just got to sign up on the website. So that's what I'm doing right now. Like, I haven't gotten a pack yet. I've just been playing for free. And then every 2 days, they cycle new ships that you can go to their kiosk in Area 52 and rent for 2 days for free. So there are some very huge, massive ships that normally either require you to buy them on their store or grind in game and get enough money to buy it yourself with the in-game currency for free, just time spent. So you can unlock these. So May 15 to the May 16, they had a lot of the Aegis Dynamic ships and one of the Grey Cat, and then every 2 days it swaps. It swaps on the in-game pedestal every 48 hours, starting around noon Eastern in Eastern time. So if you have another 6 days to try this out if you want to. Currently, we are in the run of Crusader and Tumbril, and then tomorrow at noon Eastern will be Anvil and Anvil, basically just Anvil. Then on the 25th, they're doing Drake manufacturing for a bunch of ships, and then on the 26th to the 27th, the last 2 days of the event, all of the listed ships here, which there's quite a lot of them, can be rented and trialed out for free. You just got to get in game, rent them, and pull them out of your hangar, and you get to play them. So this is a pretty big opportunity. They usually do this, I think, once a year, and there's one more coming in November. This is a different kind of event, but it's worth kind of checking it out. Free fly ends on May 27th. So this game is incredibly in-depth and complex, and so I'm not going to try and make this a guide for the game itself. I'm just going to walk you through the steps that you need to enjoy the free-to-play event and what's left of it, like the 6 days remaining of game time, to be able to try out all the stuff. So when you download the game, you just go to Star Citizen, go to the RSI website, download their launcher. During this week, it doesn't matter if you have bought a game access or not. For those, you can just get access to the game, which is what I have right now. And then what you'll have when you first land on the main menu, when you launch the game, is these two options. So let me explain what these are. Arena Commander is a simulator. You'll sit in a simulator area and you'll get to do all kinds of activities. So when you click on this, there's tons of stuff you can play around with in here. You can, mess around with 3 things. This is basically just dealing with the exploration, the ships, and the combat. Specifically, you can find arena queues and things like that. Persistent Universe is the MMO aspect of this game. This is the vast 2 solar system universe of Star Citizen, and this is what you want to do here because it's going to give you a lot of it's going to introduce you to the game, the mechanics, and everything along that road. So you'll pick Persistent Universe for this, unless you want to mess around with the Arena Commander while the game is free. You can certainly do that. Then what you want to do is you want to set your starter location. My suggestion for this is that this gets set once per patch cycle. So if they ever do a wipe, which they do once or twice a year, you will have to set a new primary residence. However, the Invictus Flight Week, the free fly event, is located in Area 18. So the simplest answer for this is just to set your start location to Area 18. You can't change this once it's set unless there's a wipe. So mine is set to Area 18. You could certainly choose a different location. A lot of people like New Babbage as a starter because it's a very clean, modern city, whereas Area 18 is kind of cyberpunk grungy. But this is where the event is. So if you don't want to have to worry about learning all of like the space travel and getting to a new planet in the solar system, this is the simplest answer. So you're just going to select that. You can set server location and then hit enter Star Citizen universe. Now, the way that the login goes for Star Citizen is very immersive. You will start first person if you log down into bed, or usually most cases will cause you to log out into bed. So you can usually look over. The UI for Star Citizen is very in depth. You're going to have options of being able to look around and see buttons and stuff like that, and you can move to get out of bed. It will also ask you if you're a new player to try out the tutorial if you want. I would recommend doing it because it teaches you about, you know, putting on a helmet and, you know, interacting with items and feeding your thirst and hunger and all that stuff. So I'd recommend doing that. Also, the walk speed is changeable. So on PC, you can do scroll wheel to change it. So I'm scrolling up and now I move faster. I can scroll down and I move slower. So if you feel like you're walking slow, just scroll wheel up to speed up. So in the interest of keeping this super simple, what you want to do is, now that you're in area 18, you can always bring up the map by pressing F2. This will bring up the local map. You can bring out a bigger map if you want as well. That tells you where you are. So this is the ArcCorp planet. This is where we are, and this is where the event is as well. So in order to get to the Area 18 Flight Week event, we have to go to the local convention center on Area 18. So all I'm going to do is walk you there as we go. So I'm in my habitation center. I'm going to open up my door and walk out. You just got to walk out, turn, depending on what side you're on, and head over to the elevator, which will take you down to the lobby of the apartment area. So you walk over, we're going to hit this call elevator button. There's a lot of waiting in Star Citizen. This is a very like realistic, immersive simulation game. So you're gonna have to wait for the elevator. You're gonna have to wait for the tram. At first it annoyed me, but now it's kind of cool. It's kind of annoying and kind of cool at the same time. So we're gonna jump in the elevator. We're gonna come down to it. Right now it's free to play. You don't have to spend any money until the 27th. And they do have some basic level packages that you can get to gain access. So this is the lobby area of the apartments. We're gonna come out. We're gonna leave here. This is like one of the retail areas for Area 18. And you can see that Area 18 is definitely very, like I said, very cyberpunk, very grungy, a little dirty. You're gonna be buying burritos and hot dogs and stuff like that. But we're gonna come out here, leave the habitation area, and our goal is to get to the convention center where we can rent all the cool new ships that are for free right now. So we're gonna come out and we're gonna turn right. We're gonna go down this hallway through the ArcCorp Plaza, and we're heading towards the transit system because the convention center is not here where the apartments and the food court is. We gotta get to the convention center to get there. So we're gonna go past here. We're gonna walk over past the retail bridges, and we're heading over to the transit system area. So we're going over this way. That's the food court for when you need to eat and refuel. You will have food and hunger settings that you'll need to clear, but I'm trying to keep this simple. We're gonna come here to the transit system. You have two choices in Area 18. You can either go to the spaceport, which you'll go for the hangar, or you can go to the convention center, which is where we wanna go. You'll also see these Invictus Flight Week or Launch Week banners. Then these will take you to that as well. So we're just gonna follow these as they pop up. It'll lead us to the convention center. So we're gonna keep walking, and we're gonna come over here to the transit. The transit above it says this is going to the convention center. So we're gonna jump in on the transit and we're gonna jump on. And again, it's realistic. We have to wait for the doors to close. There's gonna be an announcer above you that tells you about it, a depart time. And then we're gonna leave the station, and it's gonna take us to the convention center. So ride this all the way to the next stop. And again, you know, depending on what your perspective is on Star Citizen, enjoy the view, check it out. Again, everything is like as real as possible. You have to travel from place to place, and it's gonna travel manually as you fly through. But we're heading over to the convention center. Here it is, defunding the police, defending the future, and we're going to come in here and we're going to see what's on offer today. So we step out. Once it's arrived, we are now here at the convention center. What we want to do is turn right, follow the welcome signs and the event signs into the convention center. So we're coming in here, we're coming along, and see you have all these welcomes here. We're moving, we're cruising, we're bruising, and then we're going to come up and you can see this goes into the convention center. While this event is running, the convention center is retrofitted for it. And then as you come into this main area, there's elevators on either side. You see those 4 elevators? All you got to do is pick one. I like this one because it comes out closest to the kiosks, but you can come over here and you can hit it. Either you can hit the button that pops up in front of you, or you can hold F as in flower, and then you go hit the convention hall button. This will take you to the convention hall, and this is where we're going to find the kiosk that allows us to rent the free ships. And they are letting you rent some crazy ships, like huge, massive honkers of the galaxy, ships that normally cost a metric boatload of money in order to actually, like, you gotta play the in-game economy and currency to farm up enough to buy them in-game, or if you have the disposable income, you can unlock them permanently on the website. But we're gonna come up here into launch week. I'm not editing this just so you can follow it if you get lost, because I did the first time I came here as well. And this is the launch week. You can see all the big ships listed, some of them over there. And then you can come over here to these kiosks, and on these, you'll walk up to it, you can activate it, and the current rotation for these ships will be available. You can see that they're all 0 in-game currency, they're credits. So you can just click on this, any one of these, and you can hit rent ship for free, 0 alpha UEC credits, hit confirm rental, it'll show up in your hangar, and you've got it. And they've got some huge ships, like actually massive ships in this. And again, this follows this schedule that they have on the website. I can leave a link to it down below. We are currently in the May 21 through 22 setup, so these are available. You can rent all of these Crusader ones and Tumbril ones, and you'll have them for 2 days. So when this rotates to the next schedule, you'll have a 48-hour timer on using these ships that are available as well. Tomorrow is Anvil, and then on 25th, or the 26th and the 27th is all of them, so you can try any ones that you missed on previous days. Now, once you've rented those, you need to get to the hangar. So we're going to about face, and we're going to run back to the hangar. You do have to take the shuttle for that. So you have to take the transit. So we're going to walk our way back through the convention center, and we're going to walk all the way to the elevator, take the elevator down, and then walk back through the convention center the same way we did. It's mostly linear, so you can just kind of walk through that way. So you're good to go there. And then we're going to get back to the transit, and the transit should take us back to either the Arc Plaza, which is where all the shops are, or you can do it by going to the spaceport, which is where we want to go, and that's where the hangars are located, so you can take your ship out. When you come out of the elevators down here in the convention center, you're going to get the transit option to go either to back to the Court Plaza, which is where all the stores are, or you can go to the spaceport. So make sure when you come down here from the convention center, you turn right and go to the spaceport, because that's where the hangars are. So once you have the ship rental, then we're going to go over to the rental that way. So we come this way towards the spaceport. When the shuttle arrives, you can see the timer up above as well. Just make sure you run over here, get on the shuttle, and take it to the spaceport. So we exit the shuttle here, and as we exit into the spaceport, you're going to be met immediately with a sign that says hangars. So we're going to follow these yellow signs all the way over to the hangars. So we're going to go over here, and we're going to turn right, follow to the hangars. We're going over here, we're going to the hangars. Here we go. I'm leaving this unedited so you don't get lost. You can just follow this as you go along. So we're going, we're zooming. And then as you arrive at the hangars, there will be these kiosks that allow you to interact with the hangar. So hangar, turn right here. All of these yellow kiosks, you see other players are interacting with them right now. We can click on this and see it. So what you can do is all of your own ships are going to be listed here in the fleet manager, and you have to be out of the hangar to see everything. Each ship fits into a specific size. So there's a small hangar, a medium hangar, a large hangar, and I think there's also an extra large hangar as well. So depending on what you're trying to bring out, it might have a different size. And the hangars are your own instance little hangar. They're like your little hideout, your own personal space. So once you get into your hangar, your instance, you can do whatever you want, right? So we can get something big like the Hercules Starlifter. This is a big boy. I do not own this ship. It is very expensive in game, but we can rent it. So that's pretty cool. So let's hit deliver. Deliver means that I'm saying, hey, I want you to deliver this to my hangar so I can use it. You hit request deliver. It's now en route. So we're going to wait, and then the same one. And then retrieve means that it's now here at this hangar. Hit retrieve. It'll now be delivered, and then they'll create an instance for your hangar based on your size. It is a large ship, so it goes in the large hangar. So there's that. And all we're going to do is we're going to go over here to the elevator. When we click on the elevator, it's going to make a separate instance for our hangar. So we come in here and we can go to Drybear's large hangar, which is your player name. Click that, it'll close and go to your hangar. Once you're in your hangar, that is your safe space, right? No one can invade your hangar. It is instance until you decide to leave. You need to requisition the flight control deck to be able to exit the hangar, but you can come here and try these ships. My recommendation is to pick one of the smaller ships or maybe one of the free ships that comes with and get used to flying that way, because if your first experience in flight is going to be a large ship, it's really going to freak you out. So you can see how big these are. One of the coolest parts about Star Citizen is just how different the the ships are and how large they are as well. So these things get freaky deaky Dutch. Now, once you're in your hangar, there is another fleet manager kiosk that you can interact with here, but it's going to be relegated to the hangar you're in. So since I'm in my large hangar right now, the only ships that will show up here are ships that fit in the large hangar, which is fine for large. You can go smaller, like I can get the small ships stored and retrieved for this big hangar. However, if I'm in a small hangar, I'm not going to be able to fit medium, large, or extra large ships into the small hangar. So just keep that in mind that you'll want to do that. So now that you've got this, I'm going to give you a very simple, short summary of how to get into these and how to function with them. So it depends on the ship that you have. Maybe I should bring out a smaller ship so it's not so confusing. And every time you swap ships, it'll go down into the hangar. You can fall off of this and die, so don't try that. Trust me, when I first started playing, I tested the limits of everything, and most things are very realistic. You can jump in there and die. There's nothing stopping you. There's no invisible wall. If you hit the eject button on your ship while you're sitting in the hangar, it will eject you into the ceiling and you'll die. Whatever you can think of, it's pretty realistic, so don't be like me and try to test the limits of everything, because you will die a lot. So I've got the one of the origin ships here. I believe it's the 325A. So once you load up in your hangar, you've got it going. Let's jump into this ship. This one's a little smaller, so it's not so overwhelming. So we'll jump in here. Every ship is different, like very different. Their HUD layout, their cockpit, their tools, the available options they have, how to get into them, what they have. Like some will have ramps, some will have elevators, some will have hatches. There's all kinds of things going on. So with a smaller ship like this, let's go up to the hatch here, and this is how you get in. So we're gonna hit the button, the hatch is gonna open, it's gonna drop a ladder, and we're gonna be able to get into our ship and try it out. Again, there's a lot of systems to talk about here. I'm just gonna keep it as simple as I can. Once you're in the ship, you wanna find the cockpit and get into the cockpit chair. Now, your main ways of exiting, you need to have power onto the vessel, which you'll note if there is actually, like if the screens are open and everything's working, power is on. You can press U as in Umbra, as in ukulele, to turn off the power. So press U to bring it on and off. This is the electrical systems. This brings the power on. And then you can press I to turn the engines on. The engines are a different part of the ship. They do not, it's not the electrical system power. So we can press I, engines will turn off. You'll notice the engines are off right now. And no matter what I do, if I try to lift off, I can't because there's no engines running. So press U to bring on power. I is an insect to bring on your engines, and then your ship is now functional. There are flight modes and different things to worry about. I'm not going to get into that for this video in general. If you want to find out more, you certainly can. But now that the engines are on, we can move and we can start going. Now, every ship has different features. I actually have gravity assistance turned off right now for some reason, so I fall when I have this going on. So what you just saw was gravity compensation. So with that off, if I lift off, I'll just fall back down to the earth, which is kind of weird. So they should just naturally hover. Like if gravity compensation is there, they should just jump up and hover, and that is your way to deal with it there. So to go first person to third person, you can press F4. It'll bring you up into this camera view. You can hold Z to turn it around if you want, and then you can hold F4 and press star or asterisk on your numpad to bring it back here. Then all you got to do is you can either go to your UI and hit when you go to communications, you hit hail. This hails the flight deck and says that you are traffic control, that you want to leave. You can also hold Alt and press N. And you'll be able to get that there. So then once the flight deck says you're cleared to take off, the hangar doors will open. So for this takes a lot of practice and some getting used to. I would say I'm not very good at this currently. I'm still working on it. So let's just kind of turn our ship around. We're going to use our mouse for that, and then we're going to be able to exit these doors, and we'll be able to zoom out of here as well. The next thing you want to note is you will have your landing gear will still be deployed. So if we look at the bottom of the ship, my wheels are still out. To bring this back up, we're going to press N. When you press N, it is going to unleash the limiters on your engine. While landing gear is down, your engines are going to be really weak, right? So you're not going to be able to go very fast. So take your landing gear down, and then you can exit atmosphere as well this way. Now, the next thing you'll want to do to explore the galaxy, this isn't, you know, Starfield where there's a loading screen. You can go wherever you want and travel where you want. You have to hold down B as in boy to enter into nav mode. And nav mode is where you'll be able to use your quantum drive to jump around the solar system. So once we're high enough in the air, we'll see these places that we can jump to. Once it is spun up and spooled, you'll be able to target it, and then you can aim at it, and then you can jump to it, and then that's how you'll get around. If you want to see what you can explore, press F2 to bring up the map again. You can zoom this out to see the solar system if you'd like. So you can see all these different places here. Click on something and then you'll be able to like navigate to it, or you can search as well. Like if you wanted to, you could go visit New Babbage, which is the other main city that everyone likes as their main base because it's so clean and crisp. And then you can hit this button here, which routes you to that location, which will allow you to set a track to that. When you have a route set, it will only show you the route that you need to get there. So you're gonna hit this and then you just hit left click and you'll be able to jump around. And I think that's a great stopping point for the video. Like I said, if we wanted to go through all the mechanics of this game, it would take quite a while. And if you'd like to see more guides from me on these things, I'd be happy to cover more content on here. But I just want to make sure that people that haven't played Star Citizen get a chance to check out the free play event that is going on right now. And you get a lot of free ships and cool things going on as well, which is a cool opportunity if you've never played the game. So let me know what you think down below. If you found value in today's video, leave a like down below, leave a comment for the algorithm to help this video get seen by more people. And don't forget to check out my other channels for other content and other stuff and other things.